It's the moment everyone's been waiting for, the quarterfinals of the NBA Cup. And the good news is today, at least we've got multiple games to look at for today's NBA slate. But of course, we're going to do what we always do here. We're going to dig into my projections and compare them to Stokastics. So let's take a look at some ownership along the way. Then we're going to sim some lineups, find out what the best DFS plays are, according to Stokastic data. Of course, at the halfway mark of this show, at the 4:30 mark, we're going to hop into the world of Unabated, get ourselves some great prop bets as well for your Underdog, your PrizePicks, your DraftKings Sportsbook, your FanDuel Sportsbook. It's the must plays of the NBA for 12/10, December 10th, guys. Let's get into it here. Appreciate the kind chat to start off. Splash of knowledge incoming. Definitely not a large dumping of knowledge, just a little sprinkle. Just like that much. Who would have thought it would be Cole Anthony season? Yeah, Cole Anthony getting some more minutes. Last time out, Franz Wagner, a torn oblique, going to be out for about a month at least. Honestly, that feels like it should be a multi-month injury. They said 4 weeks. So we'll see how that goes. Shout out Tyler being here. A squirt of knowledge coming. That's also appropriate. It's not appropriate in any way, to be clear, but appropriate perhaps for the show. Top pick players in the slate for me. Another day where I am high on Giannis, low on Luka, which again is fucking uncomfortable for me to say. Even that sentence, like my child's name is named is Luka because of Luka Doncic. Again, I have to come on here and go, hey, I'm low on Luka again. I just don't see this guy being that good. But Luka Doncic, I'm at 50 fantasy points for him tonight. Stochastic has him at 58.4. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I have higher at 51.3 compared to 53.9. The high man for me is Giannis, 60.5 fantasy points compared to 57 for Stokastic. There's a little bit less usage to go around with Chris Middleton back in the lineup there. Middleton only projected today to play 23 minutes. He's been productive so far, 24% usage, 35% assist rate, 1.1 fantasy points per minute. That little bit of court time there, not a full run out. And the fact, too, Orlando on paper, this is a tough matchup theoretically. It's a little bit less tougher when you don't have Franz out there, when you don't have Banchero out there. Even though neither is like a great individual defender, those guys do materially make up a big part of that Orlando defense. So for Giannis, to me, I'm pretty comfortable getting there in the spot. It's the NBA Cup. They're playing to advance here again. I have 77% sim exposure compared to the field's 47%. So might end up a little bit less of that when I pick out my set of lineups for the 20 max. But basically a 150 set, that's what I'm getting naturally. SGA, I'm low on him as well, 33% compared to 54. So big stand pro Giannis, lower stance on SGA, much lower stance on Luka Doncic. Frankly, the Luka numbers, I'm not sure why I'm this low on him, to be totally honest. He has underproduced a little bit lower. This Mullen Labe here, I appreciate the sentiment to stop by to drop a like. I'm not playing a 2-game slate. Look, 2-game slates, I will say there's just less lineup combination. So for me, there's a couple stands I'll have that'll hopefully get me more unique, but it's worth the shot. The issue is when it ends up being a guy that just doesn't even project for minutes. Like Andre Jackson projected for like no minutes today. He goes off. AJ Green, that guy goes off. You're just not going to win that unless you have 150 entries in, but I still think 2 gamers are worth it. And obviously I'm not here to sell you, but I appreciate the sentiment from our guy Mullen Labe there. Or Mullen Labe. I never know how to pronounce it. Whatever. We got Jalen Williams, not that far behind Luka Doncic, but honestly far enough. About 6 fantasy points less for Luka Doncic for Jalen Williams compared to Luka Doncic for me. Isaiah Hartenstein's a big stand. He's been really producing well on the year. I'm getting him in 90% of sim lineups. I'm not sure if I'm going to play that much when it comes down to the set of entries I put in today. But that said, Hartenstein, with the rates he's been playing at, assisting on a good clip, Dallas matchup, not that scary either. Honestly, a 21% assist rate for him is kind of nuts. For comparison's sake, Jalen Williams at 25%, SGA is at 31%, so they're higher, but you're getting a lot from Hartenstein with how he's playing. As I mentioned a few times on here, kind of a bootleg Jokic role, catching passes in the elbow. He then has the optionality to kind of create a swing pass to the corner or back outside behind him. Like, there's ways that he does rack up assists a little bit more. The big difference, I think, is for me that I have him really projected to do rebounding extremely well today. I have him at 12.9 rebounds for today. On the year, he's averaging 12.8. So I guess that's not that big of a stand, but it feels like a lot of rebounds to have naturally. There we go. Unfortunately, Chunk, I guess, didn't link up with the Dog Bowl guys, but yeah, Dallas, good time for the Dog Bowl boys out there. And a guy Mathology's talked about, good finish for him. Best ball Viper, I don't think has shown his face around here in a while, but at one point he used to watch Splash Play and follow me. So, hey, shout out to him as well. Big winners around. Nothing to do with NBA right now. Your NBA winnings have to come, unfortunately, the $20 tournament on DraftKings tonight. So Hartenstein, big stand for me. I'm getting an 89% of sims. That's a really big stand. I don't know if I want to go that much, but on a short slate, having a big stand like that where you're 2x the field is one way to get unique. So I'm 50-50. I'm going to approach this right now, but my guess is I'll probably still have 2x the field at least of Hartenstein and see where it shakes out, because why not? Damian Lillard, I'm getting less of the field of him, 9% compared to 25%. Jalen Suggs, big thing for him is that there is no Franz Wagner now. Again, no Banchero still. As a result, so the rates are kind of weird historically. The biggest beneficiary this year of those guys being out has been Goga Bitadze. It's only been 50 minutes of court time for Bitadze, 104 possessions with both Franz Wagner and Banchero off the court. Bitadze's averaging 1.4 fantasy points per minute. Jalen Suggs looks like he should be the biggest beneficiary. Got a lot of shots up over the weekend versus Phoenix, where there weren't these guys in then as well. But Jalen Suggs is only averaging 0.96 fantasy points per minute with both Banchero and Franz Wagner out. And that applies for this year. It also applies for going back to last year. So Jalen Suggs has just not really asserted himself yet. Overall, though, last year and change, he's only had 478 possessions without both guys in the court. So it's not a huge sample, but it's pretty close to the 550-ish mark that we want to hit. Scored 385 the other day. Yeah, well, that's tough. Without Joker's 91. Yeah, it's tough, man. You needed to get Jokic in there, probably. I get that. Watch your shows regularly when you make appearances on Stokastic. Keep up the great work. Insights appreciated. Thank you, Richard. I appreciate that. Your sentiment shine through. Thank you for the kind words. It really does mean a lot for me here. Of course, brand new channel, guys. We're only about a month and change in, so show some love. Hit that like button, subscribe if you can. And of course, I'm here Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. and not today on Stokastic, but I'll be back tomorrow on the deeper dive for Stokastic. Yesterday was a silly show because StreamYard wasn't working correctly, but it was fine for me, but it wasn't working for Josh Engelman. So he kept freezing up. And when he kept freezing up, I just did silly mime-like reactions, which is fun for me. I get to do DFS content and really aggressive shtick in between. But today, hopefully they'll be all good. That was a production fucking disaster yesterday. It's a lot going wrong with internet connections and such. But not on this end. This guy's a pro. Damian Lillard, again, low on him. Suggs, I think you got to get there a good amount. I've been 55% compared to 34. He and Cole Anthony going to be certainly the highest usage guys. So definitely a situation here where Suggs a priority play. I would normally not put Jalen Suggs in the thumbnail, but that's why he's on it today. See, Spags got to be the hardest worker in DFS. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. And second part too. And I certainly was wacky. And is this morning for him too? That sucks. Yeah, it's tough. Internet connections usually not what you can control. And StreamYard, I think, had an outage this morning too, but thankfully it was cleared up by the time I did my morning stream for NFL. So hey, we're surviving. All right, let's sort by value here. Again, you're going to see the same guys. It's 2-game slate, so bear with me. Value, Z to A. All right. Top values for me. Hartenstein, despite being 7,100, I'm projected for 44.2. Stokastic has him for 37.8. So as I always say, please feel free to default to the site that's made tons of money for so many people out there, and also as a team of people working together to make their data. That said, when things like this occur, they allow me to get different a little more naturally based on Hartenstein having a lot of success in the small sample size so far he's had this year. I weight current year numbers a little bit higher than they do, where they kind of keep a rolling sample size for them. As far as I know, at least the last that I was there and what I know anecdotally, they're looking at the last 2 years and treating every game the same way. For me, I like to wait what's going on in the current year more because situations change. Guys get paid, much like Hartenstein did, get new opportunities. So that's the difference here, is that they're defaulting to the longer term projection for Hartenstein, which is still good. I'm giving him that extra bit here, and that's giving him a really big projection at 44.2. Cole Anthony, 25.8 for me compared to 25.5 for Stokastic. Top value overall. Certainly some ways minutes could roll away from him. The most obvious way, I think, would be Anthony Black. Playing well, Black will be lesser owned. If you're trying to create sort of a tournament pivot, checking popcorn. Actually, you should check off popcorn machine over here so we can look at it on the screen. If you guys aren't familiar, one of the most important pieces of information for NBA rotations is this site, Popcorn Machine. I've showed it sometimes on screen, but I don't pull it up that often because I'm usually just trying to pour through data. But it's 2-game slate, so we have some time. So Cole Anthony last game, he came into the lineup when Tristan da Silva went out. So that really is an odd one. You certainly wouldn't think, oh, yeah, Cole Anthony, the direct backup for the guy who's a power forward on the team. But that's how that rotation worked out. When he left, it was da Silva coming back in. And then when da Silva left again, it was Cole Anthony back in. So you know what? I looked this before and I missed the da Silva thing. Yeah, so Cole Anthony, you would think, would be taking minutes away from a point guard or a shooting guard. And instead, he's taken over for the power forward who's not that productive. Granted, it looks like they go small. I mean, the Suns are naturally going somewhat small with Plumlee. That's weird, though. So, guess if you're going to try to say that Cole Anthony gets shaved on minutes, you'd want De Silva to be playing more minutes because De Silva is going to be the one who he's coming in, at least in this last situation. It could be different versus Milwaukee because they are bigger. But that's odd. He basically was like, this is how you line it up. It's like who leaves the court when the guy you're looking for is coming on. And that's sort of how you could determine who's a direct backup in some situations. Sometimes you'll have like multiple players coming in the same time and you kind of have to do some guesswork. But here it's just obvious, like he was coming in for De Silva. So De Silva playing more minutes seems like a possibility as well. He's the kind of player that you could at least throw on Giannis and hope he doesn't die. Mo Wagner getting more minutes here would also not shock me, though he played mostly direct backup to Goga Bitadze. Either Bitadze was on the court or Mo Wagner was on the court. You can see Mo Wagner leaves. Bitadze comes back on. Bitadze's on. He leaves. Mo Wagner comes back on. So in a perfect world, you probably don't want to play both of Bitadze and Wagner. You want to do max one of those guys. They could still both hit, but they're both just center plays, I believe. Let me just make sure that. Yeah, Mo Wagner and Bitadze both centers. So I don't think you want to tie up two center spots competing for the same run of minutes. But I would say in lineups without Bitadze, who's been, again, a really good producer, in court time without Wagner and without Banchero, it's not the biggest sample size, but he's been there. I think that Bitadze, a good play, but if you have a lineup without him, I would boost Mo Wagner, I think, to get more run. Isaac might be out for more Mo. Oh, yeah, if Isaac doesn't play, I mean, if Isaac does play, he's the kind of guy you'd want out there to at least try to stop Giannis as much as you can. Isaac right now, yeah, Isaac is in the projections currently for Stokastic. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, it's an interesting rotation thing. Anyway, for Orlando, there's a big opportunity thing overall. Just really, it's main thing to keep in mind. When you lose guys like Big Hero and Franz Wagner, that's so many usage possessions away that are just kind of evaporating into thin air that anybody can grab, anybody can do well with. So obviously Milwaukee, not the defense they used to be either. So you're not really concerned about that side quite as much. But Jalen Suggs, that's why he's the top value. Cole Anthony, he's the top value. Giannis, I would have as the top value despite being at $11K salary. So that is why he is the star payer, the player that I want to pay up for the most. Not star payer, star player. What slate is this for? The only 2-game slate we have going, but for DraftKings primarily, obviously same data. And thought process and projections, glad to hear that Steven agrees that, yeah, it's weird because, I certainly am never going to discredit median projection outcomes, but like knowing ball enough, following these sports closely enough, I think being mindful of what's going on in the current year is always the most important thing. A big thank you to Spags for the info yesterday. Came in first in single entry $10 on FanDuel. Shout out with that. Faded Barnes and Barrett came in first. Hey, that was one of the takes that I had. So appreciate it, Chris. Obviously glad to see fellow Chris is doing well, and I don't play on FanDuel. So see again for the guys that want to see FanDuel stuff. Chris played on FanDuel, and I don't do FanDuel specific takes. So shout out, Chris. Good job by you. Hope it keeps going well for you. All right. Other value plays here: Derek Lively, Anthony Black. Let's go to the game-by-game view, even though game-by-game doesn't really matter here. Orlando, 104 implied points. Milwaukee, 111 implied points. Jalen Suggs, as I've talked about here, I'm getting 55% compared to the field's 34. This is without him getting any rate boosts. I'm just letting these guys season-long rates apply because I'm already getting a decent enough projection on all the guys that I want. The one that I would say if we're going to kind of really acknowledge smaller-term sample sizes, shorter-term sample sizes, is Goga Bitadze. As I mentioned before, 1.42 fantasy points a minute this year in court time without Franz Wagner and Banchero. Going back to last year, 1.16 fantasy points a minute, and that's about 153 minutes of worth of court time, 293 possessions, so closer where we want to be. Still not the 550 possessions we want to have as like a really solid sample size. So for Bitadze, I think he's a good play. I probably will boost my exposure a little bit here because I think he's probably one of my favorite Orlando plays. Match versus Milwaukee could be tough. Some foul risk maybe for him. What do I have him projected for fouls today? Just to make sure. I'm projected for 2.83, so it's not really danger zone based on his per 100 possession numbers. I worry about that a little bit for a big man who does get a little bit aggressive. He could hack Giannis a little bit more than you'd expect, but I still think he's a better play than 5,400. So my sim exposure here being low, I probably will correct that after the show. Wendell Carter, I don't feel as strongly about him. He theoretically could soak up some usage. Milwaukee historically used to let guys like him kind of pop off from three. They would just leave him uncovered. Now they're not good enough defensively, so they kind of have abandoned that. And Doc Rivers, I don't think, shares that philosophy. Previous Buck staffs have. So Wendell Carter in the spot, he's not been high usage on the year, 12% usage, a 12% assist rate, 17% rebound rate's pretty good, but not really a matchup where he's going to hit a ceiling in his rebounding. I think Wendell Carter for me is mostly a not play. I'm getting him 11% compared to the field's 26, and I'll get him whatever lineups I get, but like going on my way to get Wendell Carter is not it. Wonder if Carter will be on Giannis. I just wouldn't have the faith in that at this point for a guy who's been banged up and I don't know, just not looking that great this year, but maybe. I mean, I think trying to put De Silva on him would be the most logical thing because De Silva's got nothing to do out there. It's not like he's a key part of what they're doing. He's shooting 51.4% true shooting, barely rebounding, assisting a little bit. He sometimes can heat up a little bit from three, but I think he's got enough length to give it a go. So I think he gets the first crack at it, but it's possible. I mean, so they could try whatever, especially if Giannis starts going nuts. Like, I think they'll get creative about how they throw guys at him. Mo Wagner looks like a decent play, 17% for me compared to the 14% for the field. I'm higher on him, so higher on him. Theoretically going to get higher on Batadze, though I didn't get it naturally, so I got to keep that in mind. A little bit lower on Wendell Carter amidst the Orlando Bigs. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope projected for 32 minutes. He has not been shooting well or a lot this year. 54% true shooting, basically average. 0.6 fantasy points per minute. 12% usage. He'll be owned 24%, so I don't know if you're really getting value on that. If Suggs fails, if Batadze fails, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope getting there is more likely. He's also probably going to get up a few more threes in this spot, just kind of naturally and how the offense is going to work. So I'm not getting there on KCP. My projection's really low in him, but I think there's a world where he can hit. But I think he's kind of owned appropriately for it. Anthony Black, I'm getting a lot more of 53% compared to 19%. Again, this is just me not changing anything. It's whatever the sim gave me in the top 150 lineups. For Anthony Black, he's playing well enough on the year, averaging 0.8-ish fantasy points per minute. I had him at 0.94 today with all the stats basically that Banchero and Franz Wagner leave behind and accounting for the matchup with Milwaukee. So I could take Anthony Black here. I feel like he can heat up a little bit, creating offense on a team that's going to need kind of a secondary creator. And KCP, with how little he's getting shots up this year, I don't know that he can create as well as he can in the past. So Jalen Suggs being a primary creator, Cole Anthony creating, Anthony Black, hopefully not deferring as much here, but those two guys, Cole Anthony, Anthony Black, are probably your secondary/tertiary shot creators for Orlando tonight. Cole Anthony, if he's going to get 22.9 minutes, looks pretty good. I'm at 25.8 fantasy points, and 25.5 is where Stokastic's at, so it looks pretty good overall for me compared to Stokastic as a little bit of higher play, but really, I don't know that I should be getting him 75% compared to 48. I think there is a little bit of minutes insecurity. If you do see De Silva out there for defense, like Cole Anthony is a turnstile. So like that is one thing we're seeing Cole Anthony coming in as a direct backup, even though it doesn't logically make sense. That's what happened last game is he was coming in when De Silva was leaving. If that happens again, you could just see less minutes naturally for Cole Anthony because of the fact that like he's going to be useless out there in terms of stopping anything. Jonathan Isaac, we'll see if he plays today. If he does, he looks like an okay play as a value, but not really enough of the value at 3,900. 17 minutes for him, not quite enough to get there. He could see extra today, but they don't really push him minutes wise. He's tough. De Silva, I think, stands out just as a play that I think gets more minutes than expected with a 21.4 here. He is, again, directly playing with minutes that go Cole Anthony's way, so that's a trade-off. But hey, De Silva, I think there's a logic to playing him more today. It's just a big body, and he might get more minutes naturally out of that. Hey, shout out to that. My Saquon fade. Thank you. I mean, look, it was just the DFS of it all. There wasn't really, 9K for a guy. You got to be price sensitive. Really, any of these sports. I mean, I've talked about it a lot, but Petty Theft's Lowell's interview, one of the biggest takeaways of what he had about leaving NBA DFS is like his takes on price sensitivity and being aware of it. One of the things he thought he did best. And like, I think being mindful of that, and we kind of lose that. And that was one of the first lessons I had in DFS. And it just kind of floats away as you learn new things and there's new fancy tools to play with and all that. But just being aware that like, oh, this guy was once priced at 7K and now I'm paying 10K for him tends to work out more often than not. Cole Anthony out there makes me like Lillard a bit. I'm not sure if they'll share enough minutes together on the floor. Yeah, it's a fair way to look at it. Look, I mean, the defense is going to be worse without Franz Wagner out there. I mean, Banchero, not a great defender, but he is lengthy. Franz Wagner, again, I'd say not a great individual defender, but he's lengthy. He knows where to be positionally. It's got to get a little bit worse with those guys out. So taking the shots at Milwaukee guys is reasonable. That said, I'm high on Giannis, low on Damian Lillard here. Think he loses the most to Chris Middleton coming back in terms of usage and what he does, whereas Giannis still at a 37% usage rate, 37% assist rate. For comparison, Lillard at 29% usage, 33% assist rate, so just a little bit lower in both. Lillard could get hot here for sure. Orlando, still I think going to defend him well. You still have Suggs out there. You still have KCP out there. Anthony Black, a game defender, if not as good of one. I think they'll be okay defending Lillard still. So to me, I could talk myself into not playing Lillard here, but 25% ownership, certainly lower owned than Giannis, and he would pull away from him. Bobby Portis, not enough minutes at that $5,600 salary, I would think, but I'm still getting him with the field, 14.7 compared to 14.4. Low on Brook Lopez, low on Gary Trent Jr. Trent's minutes have been up lately. He's just been pretty bad on the year. Not a lot of usage, not rebounding, not assisting. Shooting percentage is coming up, 57.5% true shooting, so maybe getting closer to where he used to be, but I haven't loaded it at 0.52 fantasy points per minute. I think because Middleton's been playing so well, he's kind of sucking things away. And Middleton's probably due to shoot better, but he has been taking shots, assisting pretty well, rebounding less so far, which makes sense given his probable lack of mobility he's got going right now. Milwaukee, though, really, just for me, Giannis or bust. These other guys, tournament options, AJ Green at 3,200 could put up enough points theoretically because he's such a great three-point shooter. 71.2% true shooting is kind of nuts for a guy that's actually played a legit minutes throughout the year. But yeah, projection-wise, just not a lot stands out to me here. It's really the main thing. Yes, please like and subscribe, guys. If you get value out of this content, it does go a long way for me here. Again, I'm just one guy running 2 YouTube channels trying to show you how I approach gambling, how I try to use the best tools and data out there to give myself a theoretical advantage, at least, theoretical EV, if not realized EV. Please go check it out. Check the channel out Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. Hit the like button and subscribe. It does go a long way for me. And of course, check out our sponsors too. Could not do these shows without Unabated. Unabated, get $30 off the promo code SPLASH. You get all of their conditional NBA projections, which I'll show you guys in a moment. Of course, the betting markets or simulation market tool, as well as really good to get your bets in and know that you're getting positive EV based on what the standard deviation is. So lots of good tools on here, including Unabated and, of course, Stokastic too. Both are linked in the description. Check them out. Great way to support the show and get yourself something else in your arsenal to make you better at betting in DFS. All right, Dallas, 113.3 implied points. Oklahoma City, 117.8. Swig of water for the working man here. All right, so Luka Doncic. Talked about him already. I'm low on him. He's just been underperforming this year. I've had a hard time projecting him since Kyrie Irving came in because Kyrie does take enough usage away, enough assists away. Rebounding, too. They have a couple centers that do aggressively take rebounds away from Luka. As a result, I'm always low on him. Tournament-wise, I don't think you're getting enough of a discount that I would ignore my projection. He's going to be 35% owned. Thunder, tough matchup as well. The efficiency for the Thunder going against them on the year, which I should put on the sheet, actually. They have a 106.4 defensive efficiency, and that's sort of a blended rating going back to last year. Really a spot here where Luka should be trapped a lot, should have a tougher day, should have to kick the ball out more to Kyrie, to Najee, to PJ Washington, whoever's out there, maybe some rim running center, though getting that against Hartenstein might be tough. I just don't think this is a great Luka spot based on what I know of basketball, and I'm not getting there naturally in projection, so I'm probably going to let it ride with not getting a lot of Luka today, but the field will have him in about a third lineups. So I always say, though, please feel free to default to the industry-leading projections at Stokastic, or if Unabated too, and we talk about those in a moment. For me, I just let stuff like this let my way to be different, so that's what it is. His fantasy points per minute, though, is starting to come up a little bit, 1.47. I'm at 1.32 today, so that's certainly part of the issue. I think the match against OKC suppressing that a little bit. Like, for comparison's sake, Giannis is at 1.62. I'm at 1.62 today when accounting for the matchup. That's a pretty big drop for me. And SGA in the same game, I'm at 1.44, or he's at 1.44. I'm at 1.42. Luka's lower than all these guys. So, I think for me, I feel okay about the decision. But for you, don't feel free to die on my hill of no Luka Doncic. Why 2 channels? Why not 1? It's just because it's easier for growth here. We're already hitting higher live numbers that it took for me to hit on Splashway for a while. So splitting it up is sort of the focus here. I thought about it. Unfortunately, I think at this point, it's just I'm locked in now to do an NBA channel. But we're going to build this one up, get this one monetized. It'll be functionally the same thing then. And then at a certain point, there may be a Splash Play MLB coming, but I have to figure out if that's viable with partners once we get into the new year. But yeah, one channel would have also been logical. I get it, but I split them up. Okay. Let's see. It's not a charity because Unabated is kind enough to pay me for it, but I appreciate the sentiment. Hit the like button so I don't have to do that, right? I agree. Dallas, though, low on Luka, low on Kyrie. Logically, if I'm going to be low on Luka, I should try to be higher somewhere else. I just don't love the matchup against the Thunder. Thunder is a very good team across everywhere. Defensively, obviously. Total here still supports it. It is the NBA Cup. So for Dallas, I really think that they are a team where I don't want to get to the key guys here. I think they get suppressed a little bit in this matchup. PJ Washington at this price tag, 6,600. That's a lot for him, even though I have him a little bit higher than Stokastic at 30.7 compared to 30.5. It's not the best scene for me in Dallas. I think I'm going to be the lowest on them today. You want to get there more? You certainly can. I appreciate that. Talking to Tick Chuck about growth. I try to answer things earnestly here, regardless of the names. We all have pseudonyms, but I get it. But yeah, anyway, but I'm not like, the point is that Splash Play is not like a brand like Stokastic is, like where you kind of roll it under one. It's about the content I do for each sport, I think. I don't know. But supposedly, expert-wise, it is supposed to be you do separate channels. I even asked ChatGPT to make sure, and they said, ChatGPT was like, go ahead, buddy, make that new channel. It's much better. But yeah, where we are with Dallas, low on all of it. Derek Lively getting 23% of them, still lower than a 30% for the field. Gafford, I'm higher on by a little bit, 19% compared to 15. It's only because I have him at a 25.2 projection compared to 23.8 for Stokastic. So that kind of small difference on a 2-game slate is what contributes to that ownership differential you end up getting. Klay Thompson, I'm low on here, 20 compared to 22.2. And then you got 17.3% sim ownership compared to 25%. Just not a lot for Dallas here for me, and I can live with it. But these guys all seem appropriately owned. If you want to get with the field, here's your numbers to try to hit. Follow your hearts. Ride with me or fade me. Choose appropriately. And think it's the right thing to do, so you hit a specific niche. That's what I figured, is that it's just easier to train YouTube on a basketball algorithm. But, I only do one stream a day. So I'm hoping, too, that just doing it this way where it's like the algorithm knows, like, hey, I'm only here 5 days a week, every weekday at 4 p.m. starts to reward that more. And it seems like it, I think, but I don't know. We'll see over the course of like another 3 months, especially when NFL ends. I think that's really when we're going to know. But I'm happy with it so far. Happy to have all you guys here, and I appreciate it. Thunder, 117.8 implied points. Again, low on SGA for me, 33% compared to 54. It's not an issue with him. It is an issue with the projection, though. I am about 2.6 lower than Stokastic. That said, would rather get to Giannis, as I've talked about enough times here. Would rather also get to Jalen Williams on this team, have him 45% compared to the field's 35.7. I'm also getting in that 89% Hartenstein because I have him so much more highly projected than Stokastic. That is the one here. If you want to like ride in between, average them out, manually make Hartenstein a 41 projection, see what you get with it. So you're getting sort of the benefit of what I'm doing here, but not falling off the cliff like I am. But I'm getting a lot of Hartenstein. He's produced well, 1.24 fantasy points per minute. When accounting for the matchup today, I'd have him at 1.37. Lou Dort, dirty player, fucking injured. Brandon Ingram, our sweet boy. I'm getting him 45% though. Maybe he brings that cheapness that we need to win a DFS tournament. But really just more the price thing, and that he's shooting guard small forward at 4,400. You can play Kason Wallace. You can play Alex Caruso. Projected to get 23 minutes. Those guys are all okay. I don't view these guys as that different. So realistically, if you wanted to go to Kason Wallace, just because he'll be the least owned of the group and he's playing comparable minutes, that's fine. The guy getting the most minutes is Dort. A guy getting the least minutes is Caruso, but like they can all produce slightly more than average in their court time. Aaron Wiggins has kind of moved down the rotation. Same thing for Isaiah Joe. So neither guy's a priority for me. Wiggins has been pretty good on the year, though. 0.9 fantasy points per minute. I'm at 0.92 today. If you're just looking for per minute scoring instead of the crush of minutes, Wiggins will be a little bit lower owned. So I think if you're trying to get the cheap flyers in here, Kason Wallace's ownership stands out. Sucks you're giving up point guard, shooting guard for that, though. Wiggins at small forward, power forward stands out a little bit, but the minutes are kind of low at 16. They're the tournament flyers. I think if you got into a lineup, I wouldn't be mad at it. There you go. It's 4:30 here. We've gotten through the majority of this part. Let's do unabated now. And then what we'll do, of course, give you guys some good betting markets. Then we'll hop over to Stokastic after that. So let's see what we get for the world of betting now with Unabated's conditional NBA projections. I will encourage you to watch this short video, much like if you were on an airplane, the safety thing comes on. You're not allowed to look away. Expert NBA projections. Or to look for some charts right now. Do you want points plus rebounds plus assists? You've got them here on the screen. Also, I'm one of the sexy flight attendants here, so don't worry about looking at me with your leering eyes. I love it. I love it when you do. Dynamic initial NBA projections will give you the news items whenever you need. You won't be able to land the plane without those bad boys. Oh, this flight's about to get a little rocky because your graphs are moving all over. The plane goes up, whee! Plane goes down, woo! We want the plane to keep going up, though, theoretically. Immunity, strap in, passengers. We got streams as well. Chat. You can chat, chat to me, your saucy flight attendant. Unabated NBA here. Promo code SPLASH. Get $30 off of any monthly package. I'm waiting for Unabated to also log me out because I feel like it does it whenever I try to do this because it hasn't given me a chance to do it yet. But let's rule in Najee Marshall. Let's rule in PJ Washington. They're both currently questionable. Najee has 60% chance to play according to Unabated. PJ Washington 50%. So I guess those are your key injuries / whatever to watch out for, but I don't think either guy's going to miss today. And let's sim out our points lines right now using the conditional NBA projections and see what we get on here as our top plus EV bets. Oh, I graphed you. Come graphs. Oh, you got some graphs. Oh, there's graphs. It's better than Viagra. Okay. You never know what's going to get people off online. It's one of the things I learned my day one in the DFS industry. You never know what's going to make the brothers out there come. Sorry to all the people who are just watching for basketball content. Yeah, I do this all. I don't know what to tell you. All right, Unabated. Again, $30 off, promo code SPLASH. Get all the bets yourself if you want. Top line right now. Points, over 5.5 points for Jonathan Isaac. 12.3% EV on that one. That one's clear to go no matter what. Not questionable in the game, so I guess whoever's asking that before, Isaac should be going today. But 12.3% EV on Underdog right now in a pick'em. Looks like you not play it on DK Sportsbook or FanDuel. Cole Anthony, the guy does it. It was a 3-year-old for the record that I cursed in front of on Sunday morning, but he called me Andrew Dice Clay for cursing on my YouTube channel that says not for kids. Apologies that your child heard gambling man talk bad. Oh no. I'm sure that's how his child talks. Hopefully he's dropping some F-bombs after. Under 12.5 points for Cole Anthony. So 21 minutes is oh wow, that's not a great projection for Cole Anthony. But under 12.5 points, 11% EV on DraftKings Sportsbook, -125 odds. Looks not playable on PrizePicks and Underdog. And you probably don't want to play it on FanDuel either. For these sim EVs, you want to have over an 8% EV. For a market-based EV, you want to have 2% or more. It's generally the rule of thumb for that. Of course, EV being the green number here, expected value, the difference between how much it wins you when you win, minus how much it loses you when you lose. Chris Middleton, you're getting 8.1% EV on under 11.5 points if you play it on a PrizePicks Pick'em. The line is gone on Underdog, and it is not playable on DK Sportsbook or FanDuel. So Chris Middleton under 11.5 points, PrizePicks exclusive, and all the others for points probably would not go to today, so we're going to skip over. Go to rebounds up next. Splash play. I give my splash plays at the end here. I tell you, hey, here's the splash plays. Again, the splash plays should always be pretty obvious at this point. Why is it giving me these games? Give me the games that actually are going on. All right, here we go. Your rebounds lines. We got under 3 rebounds at PrizePicks, 20.8% EV for Aaron Wiggins today. So fade Aaron Wiggins. Poor guy losing his minutes, and now we're betting against him. DraftKings Sportsbook under 2.5 rebounds also looks good at +115 odds. It gets you 12.6% EV for Aaron Wiggins under 2.5 rebounds, or on PrizePicks under 3 rebounds for a pick 'em on there. Daniel Gafford under 6.5 rebounds, -115 odds on DK Sportsbook is your best bet. It gets you 13.6% EV. PrizePicks 12.3% EV for under 6.5 on there. So playable on FanDuel as well. Playable on FanDuel as well. Under 6.5 rebounds at -120 for Daniel Gafford. Under 6.5 rebounds, 11.4% EV for that one. So Anthony Goodchalk, talked about this a moment ago. I think he's not bad chalk, but he runs the risk of not being able to play as many minutes because his defense is going to add no value at all. So you can fade him for Wallace if you want, but projection-wise, Wallace is going to be a lot lower. Isaiah Joe is going to be a lot lower. That's the trade-off. Look at DFS sim lineups in a moment, though, so maybe that'll answer your question more. Derek Lively, under 8 rebounds, gets you 13.4% EV on PrizePicks. I feel like PrizePicks is always the one you can load up on here, which sucks because PrizePicks is the only one I don't have an affiliate deal with. But the PrizePicks, you can build pick'em cards here on PrizePicks every day. I promise you that. With Unabated's data. 10.5% EV as well for DraftKings Sportsbook. Under 7.5 rebounds for Derek Lively at +105 odds. So Derek Lively under on 8 rebounds on PrizePicks. Under 7.5 on DK Sportsbook. Lou Dort, the dirtiest player in basketball, over 3.5 rebounds for him. Gets you 10.6% EV on a PrizePicks Pick'em. Still playable as well on DK Sportsbook. 9.7% EV on there, over 3.5 rebounds at -120. And you do not want it on FanDuel at -146. That is the importance of line shopping. Same line here, over 3.5, over 3.5. But the difference between -120 and -146, that's about, 25%-ish of your EV, theoretically. So that just evaporates away if you don't get the best line. PJ Washington, 9.9% EV, over 6.5 rebounds. Of course, assuming that he does play today, I do think he does. But -128 odds on FanDuel Sportsbook, and you probably don't want it on the others. Isaiah Hartenstein, all right, they're supporting a Hartenstein rebound over. There we go. And they're logging me out as well. Always conveniently timed here. But the Hartenstein over looked good as well for whatever site that was. Whatever site it was given. They had the same projection as me, though. They had him at 12.8 rebounds. So that makes me feel good. Whenever I align with the unabated or Stokastic projections, I'm like, sick. I did something right, presumably. All right, let's make our settings come back. There we go. All right. We'll get that Hartenstein line back, then we'll go to assists. And then everybody wins. And I'll go, ha, 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 ha. Oh, okay, here's some more EV. Giannis over 11.5 rebounds, 13.5% EV, plus 108 odds for that one on FanDuel Sportsbook. And you can play Giannis as well, over 11.5 rebounds on DK Sportsbook at plus 105 odds. So plus money bets, that much EV. I would run to take that. Let's just go to assists and resort everything. Love Lively, Live Lovely. I think both. But yes, Derek Lively, I think a good play today. Gafford, I think a comparably good play as well. Just pick your poison. Probably don't play both, though. Same thing as Batatse and Mo Wagner. All right, where are the lines for today? Here we go. Come on. Let's sort you out here. All right. It's all right. Over on assists, too. Unabated, making me feel good about my projection day today. Isaiah Hartenstein over 3.5 assists. Gets you 12.8% EV at -122 odds on FanDuel Sportsbook. Not playable on PrizePicks, Underdog, or DK Sportsbook, though. Goga Batatse under 2.5 assists at plus 100 odds. Gets you 10.7% EV on DraftKings Sportsbook. Can you play it on FanDuel? Not available on FanDuel. Lively, laugh, love. There we go. Thank you, Mike. Shout out Mike, one of the producers at Stokastic as well. Does a great job. Doesn't get all the love of Jordan Klein, but I give Mike love. That sounds, now I've ruined it. 9.5% EV for Alex Caruso. Mike, now getting hot and heavy in here. Under 2.5 assists for Alex Caruso. Plus 100 odds, 9.5% EV on DK Sportsbook. Does not look playable on PrizePicks, Underdog, or FanDuel. Derek Lively, Laughly, Lovely. 9.1% EV for him for over 1.5 assists, -115 odds. Still playable on PrizePicks, 7.8% EV and over 1.5 assists for Derek Lively as well. Chris Middleton, 8.1% EV and over 3.5 assists for him. That's a playable one on PrizePicks. Looks like you cannot play it on DK. Borderline play on FanDuel if you really wanted to at -120 odds for Chris Middleton, over 3.5 assists. And last but not least, guys, PRAs, and we will run some DFS sims. And of course, I can't encourage you enough here. Unabated makes it really easy to get in good bets like this. And it's a great tool. There's a lot of betting tools that I'll give you. Well, actually, there's not a lot. There's less than 5 betting tools in the world I would give you my cosign on. Unabated's one. There are others, but we're talking unabated here, so check it out. It is a great tool, and it is one as well. As I say enough here, there are players that are betting legit tens of thousands, in some cases, depending on the sport, and depending on the syndicate, hundreds of thousands of dollars off of unabated data. For you as a casual bettor, if you're trying to get in here, and if you're trying to win some money as well, just to keep your bankroll going so you can play DFS, so you play the stuff with bigger upside, best ball at this point, I would recommend using tools like unabated tools. And frankly, again, the one I'm hitting at, but I hate taking the same segment, but Odd Shoppers, Portfolio EV, get that link in the description too. With Stokastic, 15% off, but like those are the 2 tools. Like if you really want to build your bankroll in betting, they do what I was trying to do with probably, simplified version. They do it much better and more powerful, meant for a desktop or a laptop experience. So that's that. No one beats Jordan AOL Klein. Hey, he's one of my pals, one of the best hangs too. One of my favorite times in LA was hanging out with him, Eric Lindquist, and my old pal Leslie, who used to work at Stokastic behind the scenes. We had a great time in LA. Had gotten some mischief. It was fun. And that's me being an adult, not saying what the mischief was, but you can guess. Smoking chamberge. You got Kenrick Williams, unabated, paying for the segment. They're so stoked to hear that. PRAs. Under 7.5 PRAs for Kenrich Williams, a good one to add to an Underdog pick'em. It's not available anywhere else. Daniel Gafford under 18.5 PRA is 12.9% EV on Underdog, 8.4% EV on PrizePicks under 18 PRAs for Daniel Gafford, and you probably don't want it on FanDuel or DK. Isaiah Hartenstein so they are with me, team, supporting yes on Isaiah Hartenstein. Vote yes on Proposition Isaiah Hartenstein. Over 27.5 PRAs, unabated likes, 8.6% EV on that, at minus 113 odds on FanDuel Sportsbook. And the line just went down for PRAs on DK. Oh, now it's back up. Oh, okay. DK Sportsbook now the best line. 27.5 is the PRA lines there, minus 105. Luka triple-double, you can go with that, but you're fading me because I do not have him doing that today, unfortunately. More power to you, though. As I say, please feel free to default to everybody else's data. Jalen Williams, 10.7% EV on over 32.5 PRAs. That one is playable on DraftKings Sportsbook. Borderline playable Underdog if you're looking for a last one in. Over 32.5 PRAs on there for Jalen Williams. Kyrie Irving, 10.3% EV on over 29.5 PRAs. That one's moving right now. Okay. Minus 120 odds on DK Sportsbook gets you 10.3% EV. For Kyrie Irving, over 29.5 PRAs. Value now on Cole Anthony, under 18.5 PRAs. Minus 110 odds gets you 10.4% EV. And that is playable only on DK. And playable as well on FanDuel, under 18.5 PRAs for Cole Anthony and minus 115. And you probably don't want to play Jonathan Isaac. So there's your unabated segment, guys. You've made good bets. Hopefully, make them count. Unabated, $30 off. Link in the description. And please, they support the show directly, so please support them if you can. Again, you will be better at betting. I hate guaranteeing, like, oh, you're going to get X results from doing Y thing. But, like, in reality, if you change your betting process and listen to Unabated more, you'll probably be doing infinitely better than you ever would have thought possible. And that's, now that was like, that sounds hyperbolic, but like legitimately, you're using an NBA projection seams data to get good bets in. It's just smart. Anyway, for Stokastic now, we're going to use Stokastic data. We're going to build 5,000 lineups on here. We're going to sub them out 10,000 times. We're going to find out what the highest ROI is here. And if you are watching this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. This might be a new high for concurrent viewers, so shout out to you guys. You're part of history here. Yay, brand new Splash Play NBA channel. But show some love, hit subscribe, hit the like button. Do similar content here every day, Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. Thanks to our friends at Unabated, as well as Stokastic, who does give you some generous affiliate fees here when you click their link and get 15% off. Woo! I feel like I do get ads. I think you can question it when you watch the Unabated one. That's become just gibberish, sure. But, you know, sticky. Yeah, that works. Anyway, with Stokastic's projections here, we're not going to see my data infused at all. So we're stripping the Spags part of it out. And you're just going to get their data here. We're going to see what their top lineups are. And I, of course, showed you guys my exposures based on what I was getting before the show. Splash Play NBA Cup edition. That's true. Everybody loves the NBA Cup. Honestly, people are just tuning in. They're like, the NBA Cup. I'm so excited about this fictional tournament they made up out of nowhere that doesn't really make sense. The good news, though, is like now it makes sense because we're actually in tournament mode instead of like this team is 2-1 in group play and needs to win by 75. But if they only win by 50, they could also make it as a wild card. We're out of that part, so we're killing it. You know, Beta one's a great freestyle. Okay, I hope so. And look, we've taken a lot of the improv out of Splash Play from the days of me and Pete, so just got to keep it in somewhere. All right, your top lineups here right now, according to Stokastic data. Jalen Suggs, Cole Anthony, Alex Caruso, Jonathan Isaac, Derek Lively, SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jalen Williams, Isaiah Hartenstein is your number one ROI lineup, spending all $50K there. Doesn't feel too doopy to me. I think that could sneak through. Number two, also fading Giannis here, fading Luka, going SGA, getting different enough on that. Jalen Suggs, Cole Anthony, Alex Caruso again, Wendell Carter in this one, Daniel Gafford, Luka Doncic makes this one, Isaiah Joe, SGA. Isaiah Joe seems like he'll be a low-owned part of things, so I get that one. Look, they're not getting my guy Hartenstein in, so I'm not going to agree with it up top. Cole Anthony at number 3, leading this lineup, Lou Dort, Alex Caruso, Wendell Carter, Goga Bitadze, who does get a pretty big benefit from the Orlando guys being out, at least on paper. Luka Doncic, Jalen Williams, Isaiah Hartenstein. It's okay. Jalen Suggs, Cole Anthony, Isaiah Joe, Giannis. Do you like getting Giannis in a lineup? Goga Bitadze. Oh, Giannis and SGA. That's fun. SGA, Alex Caruso, Daniel Gafford. Almost feels more like a cash game lineup to me. I'd question the ceiling a little bit on that one, but your top 4 ROI lineup, you got that. And number 5, Jalen Suggs, Cole Anthony, Lou Dort, Jonathan Isaac, Derek Lively, SGA, Alex Caruso, Luka Doncic. That's your top 5 lineups right now. Again, I would not encourage you to play them straight away because Stokastic users will just grab these. And even then, they're just going to get chalkier naturally through the prism of things, but use them as takeaways here. So you're getting a good amount of Jalen Suggs, getting a good amount of Cole Anthony. You're getting a lot more Alex Caruso than I would have thought, getting a good amount of Wendell Carter, Jonathan Isaac. To see the kind of uniform trends there and try to make inferences off of that is what I'd encourage you guys to do if you use this data. Your top ROI players, it's Cole Anthony and nobody else. Cole Anthony at 3% ROI. Alex Caruso's next up at -4%. Gafford -6%. Dort -9%. Hartenstein -10%. Not just because there's so many dupes overall in the field. So really seems like the way to get, not even to get unique, the play that transcends the chalk ownership is Cole Anthony based on these median projections that Stokastic has. Sims are just giving you back what the median outputs are with a spin on it. So keep that in mind with what we're seeing. Cole Anthony, though, you're getting an 89% up lineups compared to the field's 43. So they basically think he's worth more than double the exposure. So Cole Anthony, for the guy who was asking before, Stokastic data seems to strongly believe that Cole Anthony is good chalk. The ways that he wouldn't make a lineup would be losing minutes, would be shooting poorly, Orlando getting smoked entirely, somebody playing better than him, Anthony Black, Tristan da Silva would be kind of the more logical guys. You could theoretically take opportunity away from Cole Anthony, but just based on his projection and the $4,200 price tag, and being point guard, shooting guard, he's going to get more lineups than not, and he probably should. Alex Caruso, $3,700 salary. He's getting in 67% of these lineups compared to the field's 43. So another big stand, though not quite as big as Cole Anthony. SGA getting in 56%. All right, 56 compared to 54. Not a big stand there. Luka Doncic in 55 compared to 37. So they don't agree with me on the Giannis stand, it looks like. Hartenstein with me on this. So Unabated, Spags, and Stokastic. I put myself in the middle there. I gave myself a little sandwich. We all agree that Hartenstein's a great play. He's one of your splash plays of the day. Spoiler alert. 47% exposure compared to 36% for the field. Lou Dort, 46 compared to 40. Jalen Suggs, 45 compared to 36. Those are your highest exposed players right now. Highest leverage players, going to be looking similar. Cole Anthony getting 46% more in the field. Caruso, 24% more. Luka Doncic, 17% more. Gafford, 16% more. Hartenstein, 11% more. Suggs, 9%. And Dort, 6%. So this isn't that far off from what I had, other than, for me, a lot more Hartenstein and a more reasonable amount of Cole Anthony, but still a lot. Your most negatively leveraged plays according to the top 150 lineups from Stokastic, based on their ROI, of course, return on investment. If for some reason you don't know that term, I swear to God, if you don't, though, I'm mad at you. We got Kyrie Irving, negative 14% leverage on him, only 8% exposure compared to 22% for the field. Chris Middleton, 1% less than that compared to 13%. The minutes aren't there for him at that price tag, so I get it. He would have to take a meaningful jump up in minutes for him to get there at that $5,900 price tag. But shooting guard, small forward, kind of get it as a tournament option, I guess. Tristan da Silva, they are not with me on the game theory of maybe taking him over Cole Anthony. 2% compared to 14%. Again, the weird thing when looking at Popcorn Machine was that last game, which was the first game we have with no Franz Wagner, no Banchero, da Silva was leaving the court and Cole Anthony was coming in. So to me, logically, if Tristan da Silva played a few more minutes, they could theoretically strip away from Cole Anthony, even though those guys do not play the same positions. I would say, too, if the game has other guys from the Magic starting group scoring, you probably have da Silva on more as well because you want his defense and length. You don't care about having a secondary creator like Cole Anthony. So just some thoughts there for lineups there, because I think sometimes you guys take that on your own and do something good with it based on what I've seen from these shows. Keep that in mind. If you didn't know, Hartenstein is one of the splash plays of the day by now. He is on every slate, and he is again today. But honestly, it keeps working out. Like Karl-Anthony Towns, you guys know, I've trumpeted him enough times, and he keeps hitting. I do think sometimes when my projections do align well for the guys on a small sample size to start the year, the industry takes a while to catch up, and you keep seeing these guys hit or come close to it. But Hartenstein's, had some duds too. I certainly get it. Bobby Portis, they're low on him. Damian Lillard, low on him. About a third of the Portis amount, half the Damian Lillard amount. Low on Giannis too, 36% compared to 46. So Stokastic data seems to like Luka Doncic a lot more, SGA a lot more. I'm more team Giannis, so a little bit of a split here today. Anthony Black as well, getting 8% exposure compared to 17, so they're low on Anthony Black. They're saying play the Cole Anthony chalk, play those other things that we just talked about, and play Luka more seems to be a big stand. For me, though, my splash plays of the day, again, go to my sheet. Before I do that, guys, hit that like button, subscribe, do all that stuff. I'll flash the neon lights for you. But please, goes a long way for me. I'm just one guy running 2 channels here, trying to do the best I can, showing you guys premium tools and data with the help of some great sponsors like Unabated, $30 off, link in the description, and Stokastic, 15% off. Link in the description. Both of them, the promo code SPLASH as well will work for you. And if you want to build some pick'ems, Underdog, for some reason you aren't on there, you should be. One of the best sites for best ball and, of course, pick'ems. All right, splash plays of the day. Hartenstein has to be one. I think Giannis is one. I think that the fact that Stokastic is pushing against him, I'll say that Giannis just projects to be the best to me by a wide margin. I think the matchup for Orlando, too, I'm sure they're just taking the straight data on that. This matchup versus Orlando is going to be a little bit softer than it would be on paper as well. Milwaukee's total, 111 points, not the best. The pace here going to be a little bit slower than the second game with Dallas and OKC, but still a spot here. I think Giannis has the best ceiling on the slate, so I'm going to be there more than Stokastic Sims want me to be. That much is for sure. And frankly, throw Goga Batadze in the splash plays too. The small sample size stuff for him is too much. He's the one guy I'm going to go to my way to like get some extra of. So Hartenstein, Batadze, Giannis, and then Cole Anthony as value. Take him, leave him. I'm going to do some mix of both of those. But that's it for this one, guys. Trumpeting Cat's crazy. Look, I'm not saying like it was a hot take, but like I've had him projected 5 fantasy points higher than the industry every single slate, and he keeps beating my projection every week. So I've also talked about he's priced too low. I'm Team Cat. Cat's been on a lot of thumbnails on this channel, man. I don't know what to tell you. Team Cat. I've made Cat what he is today. I'll be back. No Stokastic stream for today. I'll be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. again here. No Splash Play NFL tomorrow either. It's my data upload day, so I'll be doing that. But Splash Play NBA back tomorrow for, I think it's a 2-gamer again tomorrow, then a 3-gamer on Thursday. So I'm going to keep riding out here as always. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Of course, make sure to gamble responsibly. There you go. Even though it is always money time here. Follow me at Chris Spags. Follow the show at Splash Play Pod. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Hit the like and subscribe before you go. See you tomorrow for more. Enjoy your days. And of course, good luck. Bye-bye.